over several things today. One of the things, Canvas navigation, we're looking at resources, helping your child with reading and writing, class engagement, and then we're going to go over some practice sites that you can use with your student. Okay. All right, so just some terminology that you may need to know when you hear us talking about it, your students talking about it. Jigsaw, that means access to live classes. So when you hear your students say, I need to go to Jigsaw, they're accessing class. Coursework, use the calendar and agenda view to get all of their assignments listed out for the day. And then modules, that's where students will access their assignments, quizzes, and tests. So just some need to know things. So what you're looking at right now, and if you need to make it larger, if you go to where you see the documents and you see a little line at the bottom, you can make it large, just in case someone needs to know that. All right. So if you're looking at, oh, let me show you right here. Can I? It's at the bottom. I have the stylus if you were able to see. So what you see right now is a sample student Canvas dashboard. This is crucial to navigating a daily schedule. So students are looking at this to see, okay, what do I have next? If I have my live class, I have my homeroom, I have my daily schedule. So this is very crucial for students to look at every single day. For language arts, if you look at this for language arts, you will see the ELA content is easily located in the modules. If you're looking right here on the left-hand side, you will see this section. This is the navigation bar. So when students are hitting, where you're looking at your modules, they're looking at their grades, students are able to get to anything just by going into their Canvas. What you're looking at right now, if I went to modules, and they will see once they hit modules, they will go here to their actual module. Near the top of the module section, each teacher's Canvas course is a list of graded assignments, and it's updated often. So if you try to, if your student is trying to figure out, well, I don't know what's due, let's pull up your module. So that's one good way for you to check to see if they're on target, if they are submitting on time, and any kind of upcoming assignments. So what you're looking at right now is the Canvas calendar, and this is in agenda view. So ELA teachers are posting detailed plans. If you see something that says 7:45, you know those are those detailed plans where students are able to see what's coming up for that week, what's even particular coming up for that day. So ask questions. So there should never be a time where they say, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to be turning in, or I don't know what's due. Everything is right there in front. So here you see where the assignments are always hyperlinked. For example, you will see daily plans. When daily plans are selected on the Canvas calendar, a detailed overview of the daily agenda and upcoming assignments will appear. Links to additional resources are provided as well. So everything will have that hyperlink. Once again, if you see, you right here it says upcoming. Students know exactly what is due Friday, what is due Monday. Everything is right at their fingertips. So now for checking grades, it is imperative that students are checking grades often. And how do you check grades? Through Canvas. If you see this student, for example, this student, I'm going to make it large on my end, where I see a late assignment, I see missing, and I see by it, I see some zeros. That is a red flag. So if something is late or something is missing, continue looking at that agenda, the daily agenda, to see this will avoid you. It can be avoided if you're helping your child. I know it's organization. I know it's a work in progress, especially for middle school. So just helping them stay organized to look, because students should not have any late assignments or missing assignments, because it does impact their overall grades. So let's look at Sora. Sora is where students, it's the GCA's online library, where students are encouraged to check out virtual books to read for fun. And I know one thing, your ELA teachers, your child's ELA teacher, we struggle sometimes with students and they just don't want to read. They don't like to read for whatever reason. They don't want to read. But I always say, whenever I find someone or have a student who says, I don't like to read, it's usually because they haven't found that book that they really, really like. So if you have your student reading something and you say, no, that's just a kiddie book, don't read that. Let them read it, but try to build up on it. Okay, you can read that, but let's see what else we can read. So try to find that one book, that one genre, whether it's fiction or it's drama or it's sci-fi, whatever it is. Help your student find that book. So here, this is my favorite. What can you do to help your child with comprehension? Reading goes across the curriculum. And even though we want to believe in our hearts that teachers are magicians and we can just automatically, when it's time to read, students are like, yeah, it's like pulling teeth sometimes, especially if it's students they don't even like to read. So, what can you do at home to help us? I am going to put, let me see if I can open it up. I am going to put a link if I can find the link. I may have to just I'm scrolling. Okay, I'll do it afterwards. But what can you do right now to even help your child as they're reading? Help them make connections. So as they're reading, you can say, what character does that remind you of in our family? Or tell me about the setting. So anything that are kind of just a little questions as they're reading will help. So, and make sure you just ask questions. Even if you're reading, you say, you know what, you're going to read for 30 minutes a day. I'm going to read 30 minutes a day, and let us just have a brief discussion. Just something that'll get you involved in their reading. Make my movies. If they're talking about a character, or if they're not talking about a character, you just say, you know what, describe that character to me. How do they look? What do they sound like? Who do they remind you of? So doing things like that is helpful. Look for clues, figure out what's important, check for understanding, just to make sure that they're understanding what they're reading, making inferences, and then try new things. So, yes, you may want to read as they're reading because you'll be their motivation to read even more. Also, helping your child with writing assignments. Right now in ELA, students are writing narratives, students have written informative essays. So, what can you do at home? Ask them, what are they writing about? Just ask a question, then ask more questions. So, what does that mean? So, what does that look like? What evidence do you have? Or can you tell me about that conflict in the story? Be the coach, not the player. So, be there as support. Be there. Give positive feedback. Maybe their introduction sounds nice, and you say, "Oh, I like how you said that," or "I like that vocabulary word that you use." So, any kind of positive praise goes a long way for middle school. Encourage your child to write anything. The holidays are coming up. So you may say, you know what, for winter break, I know you stated that you wanted to go to your cousin's house. Convince me. Write me a paragraph about why should I send you without me. Just anything that'll get them writing and get them excited. Maybe they want Roblox or whatever it is. Tell them to convince you by writing. Brainstorm together. Help your student revise. I know we think in our mind our teachers are these magicians and we just have it all, but it's a struggle sometimes when we have students and they don't want to read, and then sometimes they want to read or want to write and don't want to write. So please help us, and we can be a dynamic duo. Teach your child to read drafts aloud. So even right now, as they're writing, let's say narratives, so have them say, you know what, let me hear, read it word for word. Don't whatever you read what you see, because sometimes we put words in. So do that as well and break projects into pieces. So yes, in ELA, yes, they have an introduction where they focus on, then they focus on bodies, and then and conclusions. So breaking everything up is helpful as well. So, student success and writing the race strategy, that is the strategy that we use for when you hear us say constructive responses or written response. Same thing where students have to state their claim and basically prove it. So, if they're saying, I want to be able to get an allowance, okay, well, I need you to give me evidence. State your claim and give me some evidence and reasoning on why that should happen. And even if you say no, you have it in your mind, they're not getting it, but just help them to make that real life connection where they are actually doing something. So class engagement is so important. So important. It makes the class go by faster too when you're all engaged in it. But participating in class, it increases the learning, always increases. So if you're at home with your student and you're walking by, just kind of stop and say, are you answering questions? Or, just stand there and kind of watch to make sure they are participating. Because your teachers, we love it. We love we're on Nearpod, for example, very interactive, but we want to hear feedback. We don't want to talk to ourselves. And class engagement, when they participate, it helps them to adjust to the level of instruction necessary to meet them where they should be. Also, how to get help. Feel free to have your student advocate for themselves. Say, reach out to your ELA teacher. If you're struggling, it was something you were going over, you don't understand, email and say, well, I don't understand how to do this conclusion. Could you help me again? Also, remember that, yes, there are recordings. Teachers have PowerPoints that they have access to that they can go and review. Email your family engagement liaison if you feel you're struggling with programs or computer issues or other needed support. There is an online tutor me resource. Use the Canvas calendar a lot. Also, practice sites. What can you have your student doing at home? When school is over, they say don't have anything to do. Okay, Moby Max, News Ella or News ELA, Worldly Wise, Vocabulary, Brain Pop, Study Island. So all of these have different components where, yes, there could be like a game piece, some videos, just something that keeps them engaged in it, but encourage them to work at home, and we encourage you to encourage them because we need your help in all of this. All right. I think that was 5 minutes. I think I finished. Do we have any? Let me go back down. And I have all. I'm scrolling down, and every time is moving, so I'm trying to capture questions. So wait, let me find it. Or you can just come on the mic if need be. Scrolling. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I hear some noise. I don't know if you're saying anything. Okay. Let me go ahead to I see Miss Patrice, you have your hand up. Okay. And also, you can also, I don't even know, you can also write it in the chat. Yes, that's perfect. And
Are you
thank
able to
you,
hear me?
Ms. Barrett, for putting those. So right now, if you look in the chat, you will see the two how to help your student read with reading and writing is right there. Please look over. It's some very good information, just little tidbits of information that will help change the game for your student, and it'll help the ELA team as well.
Hello, hello.
Okay, I hear someone. Yes.
Dr. Edwards, can you hear me?
It's very low. I just heard you say, "Can you hear me?" So
All
it's
right. Can you
very
hear me
low.
now?
Yes, better, better.
All right. So my question is, for the sixth graders, for any assignments, because some of us as parents, we're still getting acclimated to the navigation of this environment. Some of the work, if the student has missed an assignment or something just by not navigating the terrain correctly, is there any way to make those things up, or is that just you just got to eat that?
Did you reach out to the teacher at all to let them know, or did it just like the it just passed by and it was like over? Like how did?
Now, I'm just asking, just so I'll know
Oh yeah,
how it works.
the deadline is like the deadline. Students have a grace period of 5 days, but typically one unless it's a act from God or something, those deadlines stay. So if there is an issue, encourage your student, or you can reach out to the teacher and beforehand and say, I need help. Where do I access it? Because some students are new coming in and can't find it. So yes, once that deadline hits, it's done. So speak up way before then. That's the
All right.
goal. Okay.
Appreciate that.
No problem.
I have a question. We had gotten an email about clubs and we had reached out and we haven't heard anything about them. So, how do we know if our kids can get involved in these things if we're not getting responses?
I want to say I could be wrong, but I think they were talking about something with clubs. But since we're here in the main room, I would actually go back and maybe Miss Sonia can give you some more information about that. I'm not sure who you reached out to, so I'm sorry that you haven't gotten a response. Are there any questions, anything about ELA while we're here before we reconvene? Anything else? And I don't know, Miss Patrice. I don't. Okay, I know it was Miss Victoria, and I think Miss Michelle. If you need it, your hand is up, so you can go ahead and get on mic if needed. Okay, yes. It's Sonia Welch. That's who you should get in contact with about clubs.
No, I was just bringing to your attention that the chat is locked. I didn't know if you knew that it was locked or not.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I didn't know. All right. Anything else for the good of the group? Nothing individual because that's we don't want to get in muddy with personal student information. Um, okay. All right, and then we'll be reconvening right now inside of the main room. So let me scroll up and close us out.